Might as well get the tyres up on screen, because, yep, it's raining in Monza. Good evening everyone, welcome to what is actually the halfway stage of FPRL Season 8, Race 5. Now, this time it was a little bit more, how do I say, interactive with our tier categories and our tier divisions. Tier 3, Tier 2 and Tier 1 all had a vote for this round, round 5, and whichever track in the game that wasn't on the calendar previously is what they will race tonight. So FPRL will be in a little bit of a tour this week. That's why you'll see in the title it has said tier vote, so it's not really a selected track. But Tier 3 selected Monza, and their immediate thank you is to have some rain. I mean, they avoided it around Silverstone, so it's a little bit of rain around here, you know? But yeah, Monza, just easily one of the golden pillar tracks of Formula 1, as I'm actually going to get the stream up on my mobile phone so I can interact with those tuning in. So oh, I've got an advert, lovely. Twitch Turbo, I do not care. Anyway, let's actually jump to the Ferrari of Magic Ram, and you will notice Mongo, previously of Tier 2, as, oh, Magic Ram, that's not how you want to start qualifying. We're not even 2 minutes in, and we've had our first casualty at the second of, I'm trying to remember, you don't turn one, Parabolica, the Lesmo corners, that's it. Sid is being, Sid is testing us right now. Let's see how he goes. I don't think it'll go well. Rainbow making their first appearance of the season in the Alpine, and we noticed quite a few other drivers as well. As I say, Mongo taking the drop from Tier 2 into Tier 3 for the Ferrari team. We have Angry Davey in the Aston. Rainbow making their return to partner not only their teammate, but their son, the Tattooed Star. And yeah, well, first race of the season for Rainbow, hardly the most ideal conditions he would want. But let's see how the Alpine does for the opening lap. As I suppose I've been talking a little bit too much, and it might just be me in the commentary box from now on, but suppose we all need the the voice of Tier 3 alongside me, Mr. Monkey Boy Kurt. Put that fork down, stop having your dinner, how are you doing tonight?
I had it down for quite a while, I'll have you know. But yes, yeah, very good tonight. Obviously, Cruiser, as always on a Monday evening. It's great to be sat alongside you to watch what should be, if quality's anything to go by, another great race in Tier 3. Like you say, already up to the midpoint of Season 8. It's come round quite quickly. Only 5 weeks now left until the end of the season, and this championship is far from over. So close in both the drivers and constructors, so let's see how they fare tonight. And I think now we should be starting just to have our first drivers coming around on their first laps, and I think Rainbow is going to be the first one to come across. And it's like you say, he hasn't raced the last couple of races, I don't think, well, certainly the last race, but let's see what he can do tonight. As we know, he's trying to improve always as much as he can, and I think he has done since he's come into the league. He's definitely got a bit better in terms of pace amongst the pack, but here he comes on his first flying lap around this wet and treacherous Monza. It's a 1:32.5 to start off the proceedings.
I think it was definitely a sighter lap for Rainbow, taking it a little bit more cautiously, but I suppose getting a lap on the board, as I'm not going to jinx anything for Mr. Reese, especially after what happened at Silverstone. But let's hope he stays at the top of the pile this time. Should hopefully have a full grid tonight. We are waiting on the Aston Martin of Novus Scotty to join up tonight. I was almost like I'm saying Nova Scotia there. But Sheriff Woody has beat Reese to a 29.5. And Sheriff Woody, our first victor this season around Bahrain, but what I say, Tier 3. One thing that I will guarantee this season, I see Mongo's joined Sid in the Soft Tyre Club, I recommend not. Panikend goes up to third, and speaking of Panikend, joint second place in the championship now. As I was going to say, Sheriff Woody is the first victor of the season, and then in race 2 around Australia we had Rob Sue Race 3, Panic End. Race 4 is Radical. All of them, their first victory in FPRL, and in some cases their first league race victory. But this man here, the Flow, thank you Toadmasters, somewhat timely. This man has been another level of consistent throughout the campaign. He has got a 20-point gap back to Radical and Panic End in a joint second place, literally joint second place in our driver standings. So for the Flow, that last racer in Silverstone was the perfect scenario for him, just to build that buffer. And I think now, the primary goal tonight, I think, for the Mercedes driver is just to keep your head down and just keep building that gap back to the likes of Panic End and Radical, who actually share a second row together. Radical sandwiching between the Mercedes, but Sheriff Woody still leading the way on a 29.5. So what can the Flow do in their first run?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the championship leader can do, but we've also got another fast driver who doesn't look like he's had that good of a lap by his standards in Nova Soega, who goes in at P8, but then FPRL Locker just goes through up into P2, and that's a bit more like what we're used to seeing of FPRL Locker up there near the pole position, only a 10.5 off for now. But as you said, obviously we've got our championship leader, the Flow, going around on his lap, and let's see what he will be able to do. Now, just for a reference, on that last lap of Novus's, he was on basically around a 1 minute come the end of sector 2. So let's see what the Flow can do through here. It's a 58.6. That's at least 1.4 seconds quicker. And Novus anything to come back. I think this potentially is going to be the pole time for now as he comes down towards the Parabolica. Through the last corner, here we go then. I think it's looking good for our championship leader here. We've just got to make sure that he keeps that traction, but this looks like an absolutely fantastic lap.
Have it. That's why he's the championship leader. A 128.7. And just for reference, we'll throw up the interval graphic. Nearly 8 tenths faster than Panic End and Sheriff, who's now was 8 tenths quicker than Sheriff Woody, who improves now though 4 tenths behind the Flow. Still 28.7 on your first lap. Wow. Silverside Boy has redeemed a truth or dare, not quite a truth or dare in the Twitch chat, that's for another day. Nominate a catchphrase in our Twitch chat. I should say as well, all the races are streamed on twitch.tv/FP Racing League. We'll head back to the pits and admire those in the grandstands without any umbrellas. Oh no, there's one just above Reese's driver tag. All of the races are streamed on twitch.tv/FP Racing League. And for watching and supporting the streams, hitting that follow button, we're on the way to 1,000 followers and we're taking over the world in FPRL. And for watching the streams, you'll earn little, how do I say this, interactive incentives, we'll go with that, in the Twitch chat for the commentary team on the night. Silverside Boy has redeemed to nominate a catchphrase, and it's a callback to when I was in another league. I will not specify the name, they know who they are. And it's a certain quote I made to a certain driver as Wizard of Oz. I quoted the Flow saying that that's a storming lap. A Wizard of Oz? Yep. The 28.4. We might actually see the 27s in this qualifying session. But anyway, as I was saying, I redeemed drink redemptions using channel points, truth or dare using channel points, safety car question using channel points, and nominate a catchphrase. They're not worth much, but of course it's all worth your support. So thank you all for tuning in and for watching on this fine Monday evening. And we've got 8 minutes left in this qualifying session for our Tier 3 Italian Grand Prix. We've got a couple of drivers yet to set a lap. Primarily Button though, which I find a little bit of a surprise at this stage.
Yeah, there's 8 minutes left. He's not gone out yet, and unless he feels that the weather potentially is going to get slightly better, it is maybe shown on his weather report. So maybe that's why he's not wasting any tyres early on. Maybe it also might be a sign that there's going to be some rain in the race and he doesn't want to use tyres obviously now in the early stages of qualifying, maybe just a little bit at the end. So going to be very interesting as Jay puts in a fairly decent first sector of a 28.6. That's a fairly good sector 1. We might as well follow him round for the rest of his lap, I guess, as he hasn't set a time yet. He comes round Lesmo 1, now into Lesmo 2. Needs to get on that throttle as quick as possible. Also maintaining the grip at the back end. He now comes down towards Ascari under the bridge. And we're looking at a 58.4. This is looking like a very good time for Jay here. And he's hard. Oh, and unlucky for him. He just cuts Ascari. But that was on par, if not better, than the flows split through Sector 2. So it would have been a very good lap for him. Is it potentially a sign also, potentially, that the track's maybe getting a bit drier, potentially? I mean, it's hard to see with the rain that's coming down. It still looks quite hard. But potentially could be the case. Mongo now starts his first lap this season in Tier 3.
We'll follow last week's race winner Radical to the line on cloud 9, and he puts himself up in third. He's also broken to 28s. So both the Red Bulls seemingly doing well. We got Locker in their lap up by nearly half a second already. Just going through sector 1, so we'll leave Locker to that because we know what happened in Canada. Sorry. We'll see what Reese can do now. Go from one evil to another. He's up by nearly a second. There's definitely some track evolution here, but Ascari, it's so easy to invalidate on a lap, especially in these conditions. Monza, you do run a lower downforce setup usually just because, well, it's got the nickname, the Temple of Speed. So you are going to basically have like 0 winged setups for this track just to maximise the straight line speed, but no DRS of course in the rain. But judging by the fact there's some drivers who are sliding all over the place, and the fact that Reese has found over a second on their lap time, 2 things. 1, this track is getting faster, and 2, I think people are happy enough to compromise their qualifying setup here.
Yeah, here comes Locker though. Oh, and he just almost beats Reese, but I think it might be a sign that, like you say, either people are getting used to the track in these conditions or it's slightly getting drier. Those times are starting to come down. And Button is now finally out of the pits on his first out lap. And we know how good Button is in qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. As we've now got a Aston Martin coming around. There's Angry Davey. He's up by 1.5 seconds. This should put him up maybe 2 or 3 places. As he comes around the final corner of Parabolica, what can he do? Puts himself up into P13 for now, so 130.1, so not too bad from him. We've also got a Haas coming around the final corner. That's Sheriff Woody on his out lap. But just trying to see who we've got coming around. Rainbow's coming around. 2. David Loweface is down, unfortunately, on his time. I don't know if he's going to gain anything through here or he's going to peel off into the pits to get another set of tyres. No, he's going to carry on to the line. And he goes up to P9 with a 29.3, so clearly on his original best time, lost some time in Sector 3. But yeah, David won't be too unhappy with that. I think he'd try and like to get a bit quicker as... Oh. Wow.
Challenge accepted, and now challenge has been thrown back down. Yep, so the flow's got pole. Sorry everyone, I'm gonna call the shots now. The flow has got pole position. I don't mean to put everyone down, but I mean, good luck reaching anywhere near reaching a 127.2. Good luck. JSY is a 27.7, so fair enough. It's currently a front row Mercedes lockout, and Nigel Piddles in the chat. Nigel, a sight to behold for... Never mind. Thank you, Radical. You've ruined the surprise for Nigel. Anyway, Button on their first run of the session might actually just be having the one run because we've got 3.5 minutes left to go. A little bit slidey there at the exit of Ascari, but we'll see what he can do. The teammate David Lawface up in 12th, and I think really David will be satisfied with that. He's still got a long way to go in the race, and overtaking here is possible. It's just obviously surviving around here, which is the primary issue. But Button hoping to make it to at least towards the mid-pack up to the line and puts him 7th ahead of Oz and just behind Locker, who I think made it back to the pits in time for one more run. His teammate Radical still going out on track, and I think Radical might actually be done. And if it stays like this, Radical on a front row after last week's victory, goodness me, some run of form he'll be on.
Yeah, Radical, I don't know. He might have one lap left in the bag here. He's obviously trying to get the battery back for the start of the next lap. I don't know about on your screen, Cruiser. It's not going up a lot for me, and he's on no battery, so I'm not sure why it's not rising that much. But he might have a chance to try and have one more go at it. Depends how much fuel he's got in the car. The only driver now left to set a time is Jay. And we saw before he invalidated at Sky that he did have quite a good split time through. Oh, and the flow's left the session. And I don't think now that's going to...
Oh, Jay's done wide now.
Jay's
He's done it wide.
I'm not sure if the flow's going to come out again. So we'll get him back in. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to come back out.
Well, honestly, I would say that's a disaster for the flow, but he's got enough of a buffer to the rest of the field, and I don't think Radito's got enough fuel to go again. He's still lifting and coasting around sector 3. There's Button heading back, so Button's going to have his last run. As Sheriff Woody goes up to second place, just beating out Radito by 13 thousandths of a second. The flow is back, but I don't know if we're going to have enough time for a final run. Yep, Radito's done. But at 27.5, he will be very satisfied with that lap. Mondo has retired from the session along with Radical. They will not go again. Mondo down in 10th, I think, is a little bit of a surprise considering he dropped from tier 2. Might not just like this track, but who knows. As I got Reese on basically 0 battery, starting what is the final run, going around the first chicane and now towards it's covered Randy. Yes. I don't have a track map up. I'm impressed. 10 points to Gryffindor for the Cruiser. Reese up by 3.5 tenths already in the first sector. Definite track evolution, and I think really looking at like Oz Tattoo Stardo's 10th, that's a good effort from him. But Novus is really out of position, and Jay has shown a little bit of pace so far. It just hasn't quite clicked for him. As I say, Novus is out of place. He's now up into 4th as the flow is left again. Hopefully this isn't a sign for the race for the Mercedes driver, because connection issues could plague him from extending his championship lead. And if all goes well, for some drivers, Sheriff Woody takes pole. Well, I've gave the floor a kiss of death in that one.
Well, what a lap from Sheriff Woody. I mean, you say it wouldn't have been expected. I mean, he's done some good laps this season. Obviously won the first race, but I'm not sure if we maybe expected him to go up there. But now he holds that at the moment pole position. It soon could change though. Reese, no,
just
can't
misses.
Go. And Jay has invalidated again. So what an awful qualifying it's been for him. Here comes who we've got coming across now. Is it Aviation? Yeah, nothing for him. But we've got the Wizard of Oz, who's up by 8 tenths. So he gains a lot here. It all depends what he can get through the Parabolica. Will he even get into the 26s? I think he might actually. This is like a cracking lap.
4th. Goes 3rd, but what about Locker? Locker goes 6th. That's still a good effort for him. No Buttons on his run, but he's down this time. Novus is not going to improve either. Panic End is on their run. This might... We'll have to see the sector times though. Sid Sandwich up in 11th. He'll be content with that, I'm sure. Panic End's up by 0.5 tenth. And he's just got to nail this final sector. Easier said than done. He's a little bit slidey in the exit. That might have just cost him his chance. But we'll see what he can do. Heading down to the Parabolica for the final time. We'll have a look. Yep, Sid Sandwich is done. He's now 12th. Improvements ahead, I think. Yep, Willy Bum's up to 5th in that Kitch Sauber. A wretched season so far, but looks like things looking up now for the Sauber team. But watching Panic End do, he goes 5th. So Sheriff Woody pulling the rabbit out the hat and takes pole position for tonight's Tier 3 Italian Grand Prix, with Reese in 2nd, Wizard of Oz in 3rd, and the flow, a lap that I called for pole, is down in 4th.
Yeah, I think it was just the track. You know, people got used to it, or it got a bit quicker towards the end, but we have to say once again, in a wet qualifying as well, normally when you have a wet qualifying, you tend to see the drivers sort of space out a bit more, but we've got around about the first 12, 13 drivers within a second around a wet Monza. I think once again, you can't knock how close this tier is this season. And we've seen that in the Constructors' Championship, as mentioned on X before the race. The top 4 teams of the Constructors only separated by 8 points. But like you say, the Flow, who we thought was going to have pole, down in 4th, a 10th and a half behind our pole sitter in the end, Sheriff Woody. Now, can he push on in the race and potentially be the first person this season to get 2 wins under his belt?
Well, at least the first person in Tier 3. We've only had one, we've only had one driver this season who's had more than one victory, and that is Mad User in Tier 1. And we're into our 5th race. All in all, what is that? I wouldn't really count a sprint race, but that's 12 races. We've had 11 different winners. Wow. But, yep, sunny skies, so it looks as though people did compromise qualifying, so this could actually make for a very interesting race. But how badly did they compromise their setups, though, is the question. As you said as well, on our X platform, formerly Twitter, at FairPlayRL, we have an Instagram account, at FairPlayRL also. We're on social media. It's not difficult to find us. And we keep posting our race results and keep building the hype to our race week on an annual basis. As I say, tonight we head to Monza, but Tier 2... Let's just say Tier 2, not me or Monkey Boy Kurt, but we have an agenda against some people in Tier 2 for their votes, which have been casted. And Tier 1, I'd say, probably got the best of all the poison chalices this week. But we need to find out what happens across this whole week of FPRL, and unknown for everyone, because there's nothing to reference from a previous night. Silverside Boy has confirmed that he... I don't know if that's sarcasm, Mr. Silverside Boy, but I certainly do not love the track we head to on Wednesday. It's nothing more than a glorified go-kart track. Sorry, I love it for qualifying, but I've just basically spoiled what it is. Yep, it's Monaco. Tier 2, you're a bunch of psychopaths, and I hope to God all those who voted Monaco race around Monaco. If not, you're in for it at the next round.
Well, I mean, we just got to hope that everyone just throws it in the wall and we'll pick up some decent points, to be honest. But that's what I'll be looking to do anyway come Wednesday. If it's a wet race like we've just seen in qualifying, then God help us. But yeah,
don't say that. It's going to. If it's a wet race around Monaco, I'm retiring on lap 1 and I'm just gonna go to bed.
I'm saying bring it on. Bring it on. I'll go round at 50 miles an hour, wait for everyone to just crash and pick up about 10 points.
I'm going at 50 miles an hour to everyone who's behind you as well.
Mate, they can lap me if they want. I just hope that they just slam it in the barrier and I'll just take the points. That's all you got to do. Literally, I guarantee.
It's just survival.
I guarantee on Wednesday.
Survival.
I guarantee on Wednesday, if you go round at half speed, avoid knocking your wing off, and just wait for other people to knock their wings off, come in the pits, and then other people to just bin it, you're gonna pick up some decent points. But
after how many safety cars?
Well, Monaco, I don't know. The game doesn't normally like safety cars around Monaco. It doesn't normally tend to work. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
And there's gonna be plenty of VSCs, but. Yeah, we're in for an interesting night around Monaco on Wednesday night, and I may as well just say it. Tier 1, they head to Marina Bay, Singapore, and that's why I say it's probably the worst of the 3 poison chalices, because me personally, I actually quite like Singapore. At least the new changes, it's definitely helpful for actually at least playing the game, because... we can't compare to what F1 drivers go through in that heat for like 2 hours straight. But I don't know about you, but after even a 50% race around Singapore, the amount of focus in that track is absolutely incredible. And now you got to do that for Monaco as well, which is going to be even more fun. Anyway, our formation lap is underway for tonight's Italian Grand Prix for Tier 3. Let's go to the tyre menu and... a predominant yellow wall with a couple of hard runners at the back. Unfortunately though, Novus Scotty couldn't make it tonight. I think his game's just not having it. So we've got 19 runners for tonight's Tier 3 Italian Grand Prix. And I think really the primary standout here, you're definitely looking at that mid-pack. Button, Novus and JSY. Dare I say that they actually might be out of place?
Well, yeah, I mean, you say they're out of place, but then you look at the people above them and you can't really knock anyone that is above them. So you've got Locker, Radical, Woody Bum, Panic in the Flow, Wizard of Oz, Reese and Sheriff Woody. And that's what I was saying earlier about how close this tier is. You know, one little mistake in quality, you can be from pole position down to 13th, 14th, 15th. And Mondo as well, dropping down from tier 2, starting in P15. I mean, that's quite a shock. I mean, we definitely would have thought he would have been higher than that. But as everyone now starts to come up to start finish straight and get into position for this first lap, which I'm hopefully isn't going to cause any shenanigans, shall we say, into turns 1 and 2. But you never know around this track, as Radical unfortunately gets disqualified on the formation lap, which is going to push him back on the grid a little bit, as we've now got Magic, Ram and Jay coming up to their grid spots. Who's going to get the better? No one's really on different tyres at the front, so it's going to be all down to who gets the best launch, who has the best reactions off the line when those 5 red lights go out.
And there goes Magic Ram just pulling up in their grid box. And now, this is your view for Sheriff Woody. It's never ending this run towards turn 1, so keep an eye out on those behind. 3rd and 4th getting an almighty slipstream. We've got 5 lights, we're foot to the floor, and we're racing once more in tier 3, and the halfway stage is underway. Sheriff Woody and Reese equal off the line as we're getting a little bit of a melee in the background. There's a car in the grass. That might be the Tattoo Star who's trying to avoid everyone in towards turn 1. I see some bodywork flying there. Sheriff Woody is going deep at turn 1, which allows Reese to go through it along with Wizard of Oz on the float up to 3rd. And some bodywork being exchanged in the back. I think Magic Ram might have had a problem there with Jay Undisputed, who's had a bit of a poor start, along with Mondo now fighting with Dave 8 down in 17th place in that Aston Martin. And now in towards turn 4, Wizard of Oz retakes 2nd place, and it at least limits the damage to the flow. But Sheriff Woody from pole down to 5th, and really suffering from the extent of that slipstream there, outbraking himself at turn 1, and Reese has now got a chance to scamper away at the front.
Well, not a bad start, it has to be said. I know we had some bodywork flying about, but on general, it's been quite a clean first half of the lap. And that's see Panic N now going up the inside of the flow, his championship rival, and takes him into 3rd position. Now, Reese now almost with a 2nd already. Now, remember, the DRS comes... Oh, and the Tattoo Star's already got a 3-second penalty on the first lap. But the DRS comes into effect on lap 2 now rather than lap 3, and I think Reese has just got inside that window, which is what he wants to try and do. If he can get within that window, and then everyone else... But looks like Wizard of Oz has got so much more straight line speed than the McLaren, and he's just caught him up there by 5/10 an arm the straight. Here comes Panic In though, and yeah, those front 4 are all really close together. Sheriff Woody though, unfortunately, not the best start he could have had. I wouldn't. Oh, there's people off. It's JSY, it looks like, and potentially Locker, I think, have made contact and gone off at turn 2 in the gravel trap. Yeah, Locker down into 14th, Aviation down into 16th.
And that's just opened the gap now between both of the Salvers, and Radical now inheriting 8th place with a bit of a poor start too, as there goes looking down the inside at the 2nd chicane. That looked like Rainbow having a little look there, or even that might have been Sid Sandwich on David Lawface cutting the chicane there, I think was the Alpine driver. But Locker, that's a terrible start for him, now down in 14th. Reese has got that DRS now to Wizard of Oz. There goes Panic In looking for the move in the Haas, and I think knowing if he can just get ahead of Wizard of Oz, or if Reese is kind enough, just try and make a DRS train almost and keep that pack behind them. But Monza, it's so easy to overtake, but also so difficult too. A lot of battery management is needed, as there goes Reese and Wizard of Oz in 2nd, as Davey is out at the exit of Riastari, and that is a virtual safety car. So Wizard of Oz survives that attack, at least for the moment, as there's more bodywork there, and I think that's from Panic End.
Yeah, I think Panic In went in the back of Wizard of Oz there, coming under braking to try and get under the Delta. And we go around turn 1. I'm pretty sure it was McLaren. Yes, it is.
Front left. That is heavy wind damage.
He'll have to come in, surely. And he's just gone past the pits. And now it looks like the full safety car is out. Sid's left the session, so we'll get him back in. But yes, the full safety car is now out. So maybe just maybe a little bit of luck there from Panic End. He won't drop as far back, obviously, now from the front of the pack. He will drop right to the back, but at least he can get in now and change that wing damage. I'm just quickly going to get Sid back into the lobby.
While you do that, we'll take a moment to reflect in the start and have a look at our positions graphic. Dare I say the biggest losers at the start? Sheriff Woody down to 5th, Nova Suada up to 6th from 10th in the grid. A good start from him, but Locker and JSY definitely the two biggest losers at the start. Locker down 5 places, JSY making a pit stop actually, and is down 7. So Reece done just what you had to do and took the lead on the opening lap, just keeping that gap. They actually broke the DRS too, so that work is now undone. But Wizard of Oz looked very, very quick in that straight line. I don't know if he just rinsed his battery though. But we'll see what the plan is now, because I think Panic End is going to pit. Reece will stay out, so I think Panic End, in some ways, is kind of forced to go along. So is Wizard of Oz. And who is that? That was a Sauber, and that's Willybum, and Button's in as well, Sid's in as well, and so is Locker, and Magic Ram. Are we going to see a Hail Mary strategy here? Everyone is going to pit for hards. Can the hards go 25 laps? I actually think they might be in with a chance if there isn't another safety car.
I think it's all going to depend on that. I mean, the tyres, you don't use them that much around Monza. It's a lot of fast straights, and obviously the corners that you really use the tyres a lot are probably the two Lesmos. You've got Ascari a little bit and Parabolica, but you know, the first chicane you don't really use the tyres that much. The second chicane up past Curva Grande, you don't use the tyres that much. I think, to be honest, why not go for it? I would say good on them. Let's try and get these hards to the end. Willybum now, if they do go to the end, these hards. Obviously, you know, we've got to remember that the tyres, obviously, if there's another safety car, then it's not really going to go in their favour. But Willybum at the moment is the net leader. If everyone else was to pit, and he can probably, I reckon they can go to the end. I don't think you'd see this many people pitting if they couldn't go to the end. So let's just have a look who has pitted then. So Willybum, Button, Wizard of Oz, Locker, Sid, Panic End, Magic Ram's gone to the medium as well. He's definitely going to have to pit again. I don't think the mediums will be going 23 laps. And JSY Aviation at the back. But are we going to see any more come in? Surely not. Now they dropped right down to the back. And we've got a Red Bull coming in. No, Radical. We have. It's Radical. And I think that's probably because he didn't want to get held double stacked. But I think he's probably lost more time now. He'll drop right down to the back in 18th now.
At least if he's confident enough, and I would say actually trust Locker, because Locker's done this as well. Both Red Bulls will get to the end, and I think maybe just trying to make up for the terrible start as both of them had. So Radical's on a set of hards, but he will be at the back of the pack. Magic Ram, as you say, will have to pit again. But this is now definitely a very shook-up grid. So we got the top 5. David Ballface now up in 5th. Nova Suada 4th. Sheriff Woody back up to 3rd after that late braking at turn 1 and turn 2. And Andrea Davey tuning in on it on the Twitch channel. Good evening. And unfortunately, yeah, it was not a good evening, unfortunately. But says welcome back, me. A nice evening, isn't it? I don't know, but it's pretty wet and cold in Scotland. So take from that what you will. And Sid saying the car's not letting him take control again. Well, that's not ideal because we're about to get back underway.
Potentially because he's under safety car. I don't know how it works, the game, but maybe try under after the safety car started again. Notice that I'm not receiving new messages from the Twitch chat, which is a bit annoying, but I'll try and fix that as we attempt to go again. Reece will close the pack up, or slow the pack up, and he won't want to be too slow, but he'll try and get the flow off his guard if he can. It looks like he's already wanting to sort of get away, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Willybum can do down in 10th. He's obviously on fresh hards. Would he be able to rise through the field?
And there goes Reese. We're starting lap 6 of our Italian Grand Prix. The Flow, Sheriff Woody, Novus, David, Tattoo Star, Mongo, Rainbow, G Undisputed in 9th, and Willybum in 10th. But Willybum has made his pit stop. It was G Undisputed actually making a move on Rainbow in towards turn 1, not wasting any time, and to the inside goes the RB. And that's at least one car dispatch for Jay. He's up now into 8th place as there's more squabbling there involving a Ferrari and another RB. The home track and the home track for these two. A Sid Sandwich is retired and he's left. That is a disappointing ending for Sid. Codemasters, please fix that. Please.
Yeah. I've been the victim of that a couple of times, and it's not nice, especially when you try so hard in a race and then get taken out just like that. Yeah, just to clarify, he didn't retire on track. That's the game doing that for him. So unlucky to Sid. Yeah, just bugs on this game. But we do have the top 5 still on mediums. Not pitted yet. Oh, and someone's gone a bit wide there. I think it was Sheriff Woody, and Novus now will have the run. Oh, and Novus has really gone wide there. I don't know why he went so far out. He almost went on the grass, but he's going to try and outbrake Sheriff Woody into Parabolica. They go side by side. And Novus is going to take the position but now, more importantly at the front, the Flow, our championship leader, takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Reese is going to try and get in the slipstream and potentially have a dive down into turn 1. He's looking for it, but he won't go on this occasion. And the Flow will now try to pull away, and he gets a very good launch there out of turn 2, up to around 6/10 just pulled on Reese there. And yes, the championship leader back into the lead of the Grand Prix, whereas our net leader at the moment, Willybum, down in 9th place, so not doing too bad at the moment. That kicks Albert.
I think importantly though for Willybum, he is in this DRS train. That's going to be the deciding factor as there was Wizard of Oz fighting with Rainbow in towards the second chicane. And Wizard of Oz back, I say back, he's made 1 place back and he's up into 11th place as the Flow a little bit wide there at the second Lesmo, but he hasn't broke the DRS, which I think is really important for him. He had to break the DRS and he has not, as that would have just put Reese right into the clutches of Novus Owada. There goes Willybum making up another place there on G Undisputed. Now the Salber's up in 8th. Next up for him is an old foe question mark of Mondo and then the Tattoo Star, but the top 5 still carrying on the mediums. But Jay's hanging in there. Button hasn't really made the headway, neither has Wizard of Oz, and importantly for the Haas, he has actually lost out a DRS to the Williams, and so is Panic N for that matter. So both of them getting a little bit stretched out, fighting their way through the field as Reese looking for it in towards turn 1. A slight lock up there from the Flow, but Reese just letting the Flow know he's there, though I don't think the Flow needs much of a reminder, to be honest. It is 1-2. Reese is coming for you, the Flow.
Yeah, well, I think Willybum here's got the pace here. He's starting to pull away from Button and the Wizard of Oz. And as I say that, Wizard of Oz going around the outside of Curva Grande on Button, puts himself now into 10th place. His next target's going to be Jay in that RB. But once again, yeah, Willybum really doing well in these early stages. He's on obviously those hard tyres, does not have to pit again if he can make them go to the end. And he now is going to have DRS and get in this train now and get on the back of Mongo. And you know, 3 lap newer tyres. He shouldn't take him too long to try and get past the Ferrari. Having said that, again, we go back to the front and the Flow just over a half a tenth ahead of Reese, and Novus now getting quite close to the back of Reese as well. And the Flow's got to be careful here that he doesn't come under a double overtake going into turn 1 here, as he gets not too bad a run there out of Parabolica. But we look at the battery that Novus has got, 84%. If I was him now, this is where I'd be using it to try and maybe even leapfrog myself into the lead, as he's now going to have a go at Reese down into turn 1, and Reese tries to brake. Just gets it stopped before he hits the back of the Flow. But Novus doing very well with his battery management here. Maybe he's going to try and look for an opportunity where he's a bit closer to the leader, try and get himself up into the lead on that main straight, as he now has another go at Reese. Down the inside he goes, and he makes the move stick. And a great move there from the Kick Sauber driver.
A man on a mission here is Novus. He's not had the best of seasons, but I think now he wants to put that right tonight. He's up in the second place, but all that fighting has allowed the flow to break the DRS. So now all that battery that Novus had managed, he's going to have to use it to get back in that window. But said as well, 85% at one stage, albeit at the start of the lap. The flow's on 20, Reese is on 15. So that's another advantage as well. You just sit in a DRS train and you just harvest your battery, like what David Lawface is doing, but that's to defend against the Tattoo Star. And I think now the hard compound tyres are starting to get into their own now, because the Tattoo Star is looking a little bit punchy there behind the Williams as David goes a bit deeper in Parabolica. The Tattoo Star is going to nip up the inside of the Williams, and we see from the view of Mondo, David dives to the right and into the pit lane, and the Tattoo Star is now up into a net 5th. Mondo is now a net 6th. And I think he wants to put that to the test, because there goes the Tattoo Star, there goes Mondo, to the inside goes the Ferrari, and the Tattoo Star gives him the space and relinquishes 5th. Mondo now right behind Sheriff Woody, who's just starting to slowly drop back behind Reese, Novus and the flow. The top 3, 2.2 seconds ahead of that at Haas, as there goes the Tattoo Star defending against Willy Bum, but I don't think that's going to matter too much as the Tattoo Star breaks later and defends around the outside at the second chicane. But there goes Willy Bum looking for the cutback, and the Tattoo Star very resilient in that defence. But sometimes it's better not to fight so hard, because now Willy Bum has the advantage of the DRS as Mondo gets a 3-second penalty up in 5th, hunting down Sheriff Woody, and Willy Bum looking to be up into 6th place using that DRS to get ahead of the Tattoo Star and this time make the overtake stick. And now Willy Bum, is this now the point of tyre management? Because he's up now to 6th place, and that gap to the leader, let's have a look, is 6.3 seconds, and you lose roughly 22 seconds in a pit stop here as there was a Tattoo Star looking for another overtake in the Parabolica. These two putting on a very nice show, as I think Jay Undisputed needs an invite back to the lobby as there goes Sheriff Woody in the pits. So Sheriff Woody's going to take the hit and plummet now down the order as there goes the Tattoo Star again making the move on Willy Bum. These two going at it as if they don't really care, but the Tattoo Star has to pit, Willy Bum does not. And I think if you're the Sauber, you have to be careful of all this fighting, because it will compromise you in the long run.
Yeah, he won't want to lose too much time on the leaders. He will know that they've got to pit, obviously, and he will gain that advantage, but he'll want to try and have as much of an advantage as possible. So fighting here with Tattooed Star, he's got to be careful that he doesn't fight too much, only go for the moves when he's definitely going to be able to get through without going side by side through corners, because that will lose you valuable temps that potentially you'll need at the end of the race if there is no more safety cars. We just saw Rainbow get a 3-second penalty there. So 3 drivers now with penalties, which is Mongo, over Tattooed Star and Rainbow. So the Alpine, both of them, have got penalties. And there's all Panic End and Radical getting very close together. And Radical looks like he's leapfrogged the Locker, actually. So I don't know if that was just as it happened on track, or if Locker's made a mistake, but he's now going to have a go at Jay as Locker, going down into Parabolica. Would he outbrake him around the outside? No, but he's made him go deep on the inside and now switches back, and that's a lovely move from the Red Bull driver, up into 10th place, now just behind his teammate of Radical. Will want to try and get back into DRS as we go back on with Radical, now trying to go past, and in front of them we've also got Willy Bum and Tattooed Star also making moves once again. And as I say that, at the front, Novus getting ever closer now to the flow. 2 temps. I think he might have tried to go for a look on the inside there, but was just a bit too far back on this occasion.
Still looking at this fight here from 5th place downwards. It's absolutely mental. We've got 6 cars here, and now 7. As there goes Jay. Jay Undisputed at least. Entering the fray. Locker's just a little bit back from his teammate, but it's still 7 cars covered by not much really around this track. But Willy Bum has got back ahead as there's a move for the lead there. Novus has got ahead of the flow in towards Ascari. So Novus is now in the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, but the flow's got a fantastic launch on him out of the exit of Ascari. But I think Flow's doing a thing here. I'm going to get the DRS, I'm going to get you back in towards turn 1. As Novus, that battery's starting to suffer a little bit at one stage. That's the Flow caught us. That oversteer there, well held. As Novus says, I'm going to pit now. Enjoy Enjoy your in lap, because Novus is now going to try and make the undercut here on the flow. Mongo up to second place, but critically, the Sauber of Willybum's in third, as it was Button actually making the move on the Sauber. He's got ahead of the Tattoo Star, and he's got ahead of the Sauber, so Button now is up into a net lead.
He went a bit deep though into turn one, and that's going to allow Willybum to now have another go back at him. He's got the Curva Grande on lap 13 now of this race. We're almost getting to half distance. And can Willybum have a look on this occasion? He can't. And these guys have got to be careful as the Panic End goes around the outside of the Tattooed Star. And maybe those tyres of the Tattooed Stars are starting to go off now as well. The Panic End obviously in this fight for the World Championship potentially as well in Tier 3, up in P5, a net P3 as it stands. But the Flow now will be coming around soon to come in, and surely will have to come in to try and cover off the likes of Novus and Reese. And there's moves going into Ascari again, and Willybum's now through past Button. So this is all to play for here. Here comes now the Flow down through Parabolica, and surely, like I've just said, will be in to cover off Novus and Reese, who obviously pitted the last lap, and there he is. He comes straight in. Mongo will take the and that is exactly what the Flow, the championship leader, did not want. We'll see where he comes out, but now he's going to need another safety car now to get rid of that 10-second penalty. And as Novus now comes around the final corner, Reese also, and Sheriff Woody actually on mediums, 2-lap old mediums. In fact, that's going to mean that Sheriff Woody's going to have to stop again.
And there goes Novus. He's got ahead of the Flow, and just like Silverstone last time out for Wizard of Oz, it's a 10-second penalty for our net leader. As Panic End now, he's got a 3-second penalty found with Button again round the outside. Panic End making that his forte tonight. He done it to the Tattoo Star, and now it's shared a bit of that love to Button. As now this looks like it's going to be a very interesting end to this race. We've got both the Red Bull drivers in a net 4th and 5th. Sheriff Woody getting a penalty, though it's not going to help him. So, dare I say, the Sauber of Willybum is going to be the net leader if Mongo makes his pit stop this lap.
Yeah, he will do, and I think Willybum at the moment is driving an absolutely fantastic race. But his Panic End trying to get in the slipstream. Will he go for a move down into Parabolica? Is he going to? No, he's going to go for the move, and he made contact.
Oh! And Button's been caught in the collateral.
That was not a great move from Panic End, it has to be said. Well, in fact, I'm not even sure whose fault that was, but
Button is absolutely irate with that, and honestly, I don't blame him.
Yeah, but look who it's brought into it. His FPRL locker that now goes up into P3, and I think Panic End.
Oh, he's as well. Oh, who wants to win? I think the answer now, Panic End.
Yeah, I think Panic End's got damage from where he's hit, Willybum. So literally, there's going to be some stewards reports going in after this, because there's been half a lap of not so good racing. And look who's up in third again with no penalties. It's that man that won last week.
Oh my goodness me. Deja vu, anyone? You've been told that by Silverside Boy to stop cursing people. I think it's just Locker, really. I think it's just Locker who's got the hoodoo about him. But Willybum now down in 6th. That gap, Flow, that's one thing you had to avoid, along with the 10 seconds. But Novus is 8.5 seconds behind this group. I mean, oh, Jess, why? That was brave. That was brave. I think, yeah, very foolish but brave. But as I was gonna say, Novus only 8 seconds behind Locker. Can Novus pull something out of here? Because he's got 10-lap fresher tyres at best. Radical's got the freshest tyres of everyone in the top, I say the top 6. Mongo hasn't pitted yet. Radical's on 11-lap old tyres. They don't race making a move in Sheriff Woody for what is currently 9th place. This race has been blown wide open. Who is going to take the victory? Because JSY has now found himself in somewhat of a position here. He could yet get a podium.
Yeah, but there's a lot of say there's a lot of penalties lingering about now. Obviously, about 5, 6 laps. Oh, Willy Bum's now got a penalty. So literally everyone's starting to get penalties now. So Novus hasn't got one, Locker hasn't got one, and Radical hasn't got one in the top 7. And Radical is looking in the prime position. He's got he's got 3 cars that are on sort of longer used tyres between him and Novus, and he has no penalty at the moment. Mongo will have to pit soon. I would have thought probably potentially either this lap or next. And Panic N's going to have to try and pull a gap of at least 3 seconds. At the moment it's 1.8. But Radical is looking in great position here. Once again, like we said last week, just got to keep it on the track and avoid those penalties. But as you said, Cruiser, we've obviously got Novus catching at a rapid pace. Only 3 lap-old tyres he's on compared to 12, 13 lap-old tyres of the people in front of him. It's definitely going to be an interesting end to this race. 10 laps to go. If we see another safety car, that's going to change it even more. And there's someone that will be hoping for that, actually, is David Lolface, who can go to the end, hasn't got a penalty. And now Locker making a move on Willy Bum. And I don't think Locker's wing damage is really that much bothering him too much. He's still being able to make moves. However, obviously, downforce isn't a massive thing around Monza, but it's still... Oh, there's a yellow flag, and I think it's Magic Ram.
Magic Ram spun at Parabolica. Hopefully, yeah, as you can see from the minimap, he will get back going again. As Wizard of Oz now gets a 3-second penalty. Everyone joining the 3-second club. But vitally, despite Locker having that wind damage, he's not in that club yet. As there's another yellow flag around sector 1. That might have been Jay. Just struggling out of the exit to the first chicane. I know that chicane has a name, I just can't remember it, I'm sorry. But anyway, we're on lap 17. We'll have 10 laps left at what has been an action-packed Italian Grand Prix for Tier 3. Mondo on their return to Tier 3, leading the way, but hasn't made his pit stop yet. Panic N's in second, but on a 3-second penalty and a potential meeting with the stewards for a collision, with the Sauber of Willy Bum fighting with Locker for 5th place. As there's Mondo decided, right, this is my stop, lap 18. So now you go for broke now on a set of mediums. So now, this is the order. Panic N leads our Tier 3 Italian Grand Prix. Radical's in 2nd place, looking to duplicate the success at Silverstone. JSY is in 3rd, Locker is in 4th, but penalty free of both Red Bulls. Willy Bum is in 5th. The Flow has now actually got back ahead of Novus and is starting to really close that gap now to these cars that pitted on lap 3 for these tyres. The Flow pitted on lap 14. So a 10 lap difference in these tyres for the Flow, and he's making that count. But one thing about... There's a little bit of lag there on my end. One thing about Monza though, this DRS will help you. It'll just make sure that they don't gain too much in a straight line. So all the timing for the Flow is going to have to be made up around the 2nd and 3rd sector. As Eros Locker making it 3rd place, and a Red Bull double podium. Can Locker actually get in range of Panic End and make it a potential 1-2?
Well, there's potential there, but Aviation's going to come back at him. Rounding outside, we saw this earlier with Panic End and Willy Bum. And this time more space is left. It allows Willy Bum to go through on the inside. Willy Bum now back into 4th place. He obviously has that penalty in now. I think Locker's going to get overtaken here by 2 cars with how powerful the DRS. Yeah, it's literally going to get swamped here. Potentially 3 wide, is it? No. But there we go. There goes Willy Bum. There goes Aviation past him. And that down to P5 goes Locker. But the gap now between 5th and 6th is 3.8 seconds. They are catching at a rapid pace. This race is not over yet. Novus is the one you've got to watch out for. Obviously, the Flow's got so many penalties. I think 13 seconds. Well, obviously, that speeding penalty he got coming into the pit lane. You need to watch out for Novus because he's not out of this yet. So say that Radical now into DRS.
Tantalisingly close as Radical, and fair play to him, he has caught up to the McLaren. I think he wants this one on track. And are we now going to be in a position, as I'm going to wait till he exits the Strade, are we now in a position where the man who never won a league race for 3 years is going to do back-to-back?
Well, and something if he does.
Can Locker though make it a double podium for the Red Bull? And tell you what, if you're Locker, You just sit in this line. Willybum and JSY have a penalty. You don't. You just sit in this line, and albeit the flow is right there, he's made up at least 6 seconds in his 4 laps. As there was JSY wanting this move on track against the Sauber, and it's going to go down the inside, up into the podium places goes the Mercedes. But the flow, there he is there, 2.1 seconds, and at one stage that gap was around 8. So that just shows the fresh tyres here. But are people going to struggle? Zero's Radical looking for the move on Panic End. This is the fight for the lead. Radical wants this one on track.
Yeah, he's getting extremely close now, and he'll want all this DRS. It's going to help him from the guys behind. Obviously now for the flow, and Novus really coming up now to the back of Aviation, Willybum and Locker. So they're going to try and pull as much of a gap as they can. Here goes Radical, and Radical doesn't want to go past yet. He knows that Panic M will come back at him down the main straight. He's going to wait until then. Oh, he gets a bit slidey there out of Ascari, but keeps it on track. We've got 3 temps between the two. Just got to stay close to him as he goes through Parabolica and don't do anything silly. Those tyres are now 15 laps old for Radical. He's got people behind him that are obviously on 10 lap fresher ones. It's going to be an almighty tight end to this race. So here he comes, and surely now will take the lead of the Grand Prix on track. Forget about the penalties. Locker is now the race leader once again. This time last week he won a Grand Prix, and he looks like at the moment potentially that he's going to do the same again today. Sheriff Woody's into the box. We knew that he had to come in again because he obviously went on to mediums. He'll now come on to softs for the rest of the race. But yeah, I mean, look at the flow now, really getting onto the back of this pack. Novus really needs to try and pick it up a little bit if he wants anything out of this race. I mean, they don't really have to worry about the flow. I think he's got 16 seconds of penalties, so that's not really going to pose a threat to anyone at the front here.
Well, we can confirm 16 seconds of penalties for the flow button, getting a 10 second for speeding in the pit lane after being caught up in a collision with Panic End and Willybum around lap, pardon me, when did Button put those tyres on? Lap 6, so on lap 13 he got caught up in that collision with the McLaren and the Sauber. But Radical leading on track, and he wants this one to stand on track. But Locker still fine with Willybum. They've lost out the DRS to GSY, and the flow, and Novus for that matter, and Reese, they are right behind them and in that DRS window. So Novus could yet crash the party at Red Bull, and even at that, he could end up stealing a podium as it was Panic End. Radical not really wanting to fight this one too hard, and not using any battery, just full charge for Radical, just almightily close there to the McLaren, almost pushing him through the first chicane. But Panic End retakes the lead of the race with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, it's going to be almightily tight here, and the thing is that the flow and Novus and Reese have basically come up to a DRS trainer, finding it extremely hard now to get past these guys in front of them. As like you said, there's not a lot of corners on this track where you can sort of outdo people for traction and for downforce. It's all about speed and your setup and how much front end speed you've got. As there's we go then, the flow trying to make a move, and he makes a move on Willybum, and now will Willybum let his teammate through of Novus? He's only in for tonight.
Oh, Novus is gone! Did he get tagged by Reese? And that's a safety car!
And
is that the saving grace for the flow?
Well, I mean, he'll get to serve. He'll get to serve his 10-second penalty, but he'll still have 6 seconds. He'll drop right down the order. The question is, if you're Radical here and Locker, what do you do? Do you stay out or do you pit for softs?
You know, I think they have enough to double stack, but if you're Locker, you've got to be a lot more careful going into the pits. So Radical is in. Yep, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You've got to pit for softs at this stage. You get eaten alive on these tyres, especially the likes of Panic.
I'll tell you who's loving this. I'll tell you who's absolutely loving this is Mongo. No, I thought Mongo would have gone on 4-lap old mediums. I thought he would have gone to the lead.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But the flows had to be held, and he's going to be held even longer with his penalties. So now what's the order? Radical's jump Panic End. Radical's jump Panic End. JSY's now in 3rd. Locker is jump Willybum to 4th. Mongo's now up to 6th.
Sheriff Woody's going to rise a load of places as well here. Sheriff Woody's up to 6th
he goes
now.
through. And that's actually worked out brilliantly for the Sheriff. He's only on 2 lap old softs. That's actually worked out really well for the Haas driver. He's now back in amongst the lead pack. But if you're Red Bull, goodness me, this race should have been what you've been dreaming for.
Well, I mean, at the moment, if you're Red Bull, it's a 1-2 for you at the moment because the penalties will come into effect. The Flow now down in 10th, the championship leader. Panic-M will want to stay up as high as he can, obviously for the championship side of things. But Novus here is not out of a podium yet. He's down in 9th, but if the DRS train is as close as what we've seen some DRS trains in this league, or this tier, for example, then he's not out of a podium yet. David Lowface isn't out of a good finish here. He's down in 11th, but he's got no penalties to his name, and this is exactly what you want. If you've got no penalties at this stage, you want a safety car late on so you can leapfrog everyone else that has got penalties. I mean, David at the moment is looking on for, it depends how close he can stay to the pack, but he'd be looking on for a P4 based on time penalties. I'm not sure if he'll be out of stick between 3 seconds between him and the likes of Panic End in second, obviously, but it'll definitely leapfrog a few positions.
Yeah, David could be on for a good haul of points here as well. He just needs to keep it clean. Jay Undisputed as well, actually. Don't count out the RB. But, oh, Button. It just never happens for him in the race, and I don't know why. But lap 24, we're going to have a 3-lap sprint to the end. And if you're, I think really, if you're a Red Bull boys, you just keep it in the white lines. That's all you need to do. But, I don't know, the Flow, he could potentially see his championship lead, which was at one stage 20 points. Right now, it's going to be 4 points in favour of Radical. That's what this race can do. Actually, tell me, I'm curious, who's got the fastest lap right now? And it's Wizard of Oz. So that bonus point will not count. But as it is, the Flow, he's not won a race yet this season. Radical has, and Radical was 20 points behind him, along with Panic End, both of them first and second. Oh man. We're only halfway there. If this is what the first half of the season is, I'm not ready for the second half.
Yeah, and I'm thinking now, is the safety car going to come in? I think it can go one more. It can go one more lap.
If it goes one more, that really helps out Radical, because you'll have only the one detection point. If it goes in this lap, you'll have one. Panic End will have one chance down it towards the first chicane. And I think they're just gonna miss it as Magic Cram and Wizard of Oz. So right now, if you're Radical and Locker, you are loving life.
Well, Wizard of Oz will catch up. It's all about Magic Ram. It's literally got to come in now. I think it's going to go again. It is going to go again. I think it is. Yes, it is. It's going to go again. So Radical's going to have to defend for 2 laps. No DRS. Either. Oh, actually, no, sorry. DRS on the final lap. But obviously Panic End's going to have 3 seconds worth of penalties. I've just checked the race director. Radical can afford to have 2 warnings as well before he gets a penalty. I think Locker's got 1 warning away from a 3 seconds. But this could be, I hope it isn't, this could be a bit risky from some people. They'll know they've only got 2 laps left of the race on fresh tyres, and they might decide to stick it up the inside in places where it might not necessary. So hopefully that's not the case, but you never know in circumstances like this. We've only got a couple of laps left. You might decide to go for a move which you probably wouldn't go for in the main race, but there's only 2 laps left. I don't know. Like we say though, at the moment the Red Bulls are on for a 1-2 here.
Oh man, 3 years he's waited for this, and now he could be picking up a second victory in as many weeks. Locker could be on for his first podium of the new season as well. Nova Suwaga actually could be on for a podium, just if he stays in range, but that's a very outside podium. David Lawface is on for a couple of points as well, so is Jay. Rainbow stayed out on 11 lap old hards. I'm sorry to say Rainbow, but you will be slaughtered at this restart. I'm terribly sorry for saying that. It's just the truth. But for the final time at Monza, we will say goodbye to the safety car, and we'll have 2 laps of racing to the line. Radical and Red Bull. This could be the double-header of dreams. Panic End in second place, but I'm fairly sure we'll have a meeting with the stewards at one stage. JSY is there if anything goes wrong, so is Locker. Oh my god, pick a driver of the day right now and good luck. That's all I'm going to say to you, Monkey Boy Chart. You've got to pick someone from this.
I do indeed. And I think Locker is going to be in a party now with Radical, and he's going to say when he's going to go, and that's when he's going to go. He's going to go now. Oh, he's backed up a little bit.
And now he goes. That was just to deny the slipstream from Panic End, but away we go for the final time at Monza. Radical rinsing that battery, Panic End draining that battery to try and go for an overtake. Radical moves over to the left to defend, but he doesn't have to defend too much. Panic End goes through, but he goes deep at the first chicane, but he's going to compromise Radical at the exit. Panic End takes the lead back, but it's on the penalties. There's a couple of cars going wide. I think Button and J Undisputed have hit problems going around the first chicane, and more so Rainbow as well. As up to the second chicane now, Panic End still leading the way. Radical, JSY and Locker in fourth. No changes despite the places, and it's actually Novus who had problems. Novus, I think, got caught up with Jay.
Yeah, at the moment, David Lowface could potentially be on for a podium here. We're going to look at the leader gap. I think he is. He's on for a podium at the moment, is David Lowface. What a drive this would be to see the front three of Radical, Locker and David on the podium. But Panic End needs to try and push now, and Radical is not falling back from him. And 4 tenths is the gap, and he's even catched him now with the slipstream, and surely Radical's got one more lap to go to make it 2 wins out of 2. Aviation, doesn't matter how fast he gets up there, he's got a penalty as well. Locker's now got to be wary of the people behind him. He doesn't want to obviously get into too many battles with the cars, and obviously he'll lose time. At the moment, no, it's looking like it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2. It looks like Radical's going to take back-to-back victories after not winning a race for 3 seasons in FPRL. But Locker now is going to be under pressure from Willy Bum, and I think he got a bad run out of turn 2.
Doesn't have to fight it, and he knows it's for the better, so Locker down to 5th. But he's got to stay within range of Panic End of that 3 seconds to make it a Red Bull 1-2. And this man here, Radical, he was on cloud 9 at the end of Silverstone, and God knows what he's going to be on today, but I think it's going to be a 7-day bender for Radical as J Undisputed picks up a 3-second penalty. That's going to ruin his chance of points, but Radical, he wants this on track. He's going to go down the inside at Ascari, and Radical takes the lead on the final lap, and the final chance he has to take the lead on track, he has took it. And I tell you what, Monkey Boy Chart, there was plenty of emotion at Silverstone, but I think tonight, he said Bedlam and limbs at Red Bull. There's going to be a party, there's going to be everything going on at Red Bull. The first time wasn't so nice. He's only gone and done it twice. Radical back-to-back in Tier 3. Locker makes it a 1-2. Panic End will take 3rd. JSY to take 4th. David will take 5th place after the penalties. Willy Bum will take 6th. But crucially, the Flow has failed to score because of his time penalties. And it's a Red Bull 1-2 in Ferrari's backyard. Radical from Locker. And I think the beers were on Radical last week. Now, it's going to be some nice tasty champagne.
Well, I'll tell you one other thing. That puts Radical now the championship leader. He's now the championship leader in this Tier 3 championship. And what an absolute race that is, because the Flow finishes in 14th. So obviously no points. Radical will gain 25. He will take the championship lead by 5 points. So what a result once again. And how do you not win a race for 3 years and then win 2 in a row? Unbelievable. I mean, the Red Bulls are 1 and 2 as well. Panic End gets 3rd as well, which will put him up to 55 points, which will put him in 3rd place in this championship. This championship is getting absolutely brilliant. I'm going to invite the top 3 into the party for some interviews, obviously, but what a race once again.
Oh, Tier 3, you don't disappoint, but make sure we don't get a heart attack before the end of the season, please. Cheers, thank you. But mainly, thank you, Tier 3. You chose this track and you gave us an absolute classic once again in FPRL. We just keep getting better and better. But I think at Radical, life couldn't be any much better. 2 wins on a trot, and Locker makes it a Red Bull 1-2 at Monza. Panic will take 3rd. And yeah. Wow, man, wow. One thing we know about FPRL is you never script anything because you're not going to be right. Or you will at least be wrong. And so I would say, boy, this is one for you, Radical. Radical domination could become boring. Anyway, to the showroom. We'll get the McLaren up on stream and wait for a quick word from Panic End if they do join. If not, yeah, it's going to be a pretty fun chat with the Red Bull boys, and Panic End does join. So we'll make sure they get everything ready and set before our interviews. I'll take this time to say big thank you to everyone tuning in and for watching tonight in Tier 3. And yeah, if you guys liked what you see, join our Discord server. There's no shortage of ways to connect on our Twitch channel. Nightbot will drop a link to our Discord server. And click the link to the sign up steps. And we'll see you on track for the second half of the season. On our X account, formerly Twitter, FairPlayRL, there's a link to our Discord there. Our Instagram is a link to our Discord there as well. There's no shortage of connections to FPRL. So what are you waiting for? Monday, Wednesday and Friday, 8 PM UK time. And as you've seen tonight, anything can happen. And on that note, Panic End, welcome back to the podium. Not quite the victory though, but still, that mid-race chaos. Talk us through that, because that looked quite feisty.
Yeah, it's a hectic race today. I had a small incident with, I think, Wizard during the first safety car. He somehow brake tested me twice and I got a wing damage, so I went back to P16, I think, and then I tried to send it everywhere I can and push as hard as I could. But unfortunately, it didn't work out quite for me today. But nevertheless, I'm happy with P3.
Yeah, certainly not an easy track to keep the penalties down. But was this a track that you actually voted for? You might as well ask.
No, I didn't. I don't like the track very much, to be honest. But today I was quite fast. It looks like.
That's it. That it does. Pardon me. I'm going to look at our calendar real quick to see where we head to next. This week, next week, of course, it will be the whole FPRL circus, and we head off to Spa next week. So Belgium. That's going to be a wild card race, I think, from you.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite races, and I'm very looking forward to it. And yeah, I try to keep this pace up.
That's that we hope. And Panic End wrote a victory to his name, and they're a 3rd place as well. So bed well done to the McLaren driver. But I think now, the moment that at least some of us have been waiting for in FPRL. I'm actually going to unmute Locker real quick because there was a slight echo for that Panic End interview. Sorry, Locker. Monkey Boy Kurt, over at you.
Yeah, thank you, Cruiser. Well done, Panic End, once again on your P3. Good job there, mate. But yeah, we move on to our P2 man, the first of the Red Bulls on the podium tonight, which is FPRL Locker. On the podium once again, making a good habit of this season. Not quite the win, but I don't think you'll mind your teammate getting his second one on the trot. But we'll go on to quali start with, and obviously qualifying in P8 today, only 4 attempts off pole in the wet. How did it feel out there in the wet conditions, and did you alter your setup in any way to try and get a better quali result?
I'll answer that first. No, I didn't change my setup. I just left it how it was because I knew it was going to be dry for the race. But in terms of how did it feel, it felt a hell of a lot better than I thought it was. I was even saying to Rads in the party, I was a lot more comfy in the wet than I first feared. So P8, not too bad. I was hoping for a bit better, but we'll take it. And then yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously we come into the race and early safety car. You come in for tyres, and obviously we saw that Radical went round again. I assume that's not to double stack. Obviously, he made him go back to the back. Did you always think that those hards would get to the end? Obviously, we know in the end that you did obviously go in for softs with the late safety car. Was that always the plan when that safety car did come up that early?
Yeah. Soon as the first one come out, we were discussing like who's going. We both going as one going, and then Rad's kindly offered to stay out. And as I went in, I think I was down in like P14, 13 region anyway. I come out around about there. So, like I say, through that first pit stop, holding position wasn't too bad. And then obviously gained a couple when a few more pitted. But yeah, it was a good first stint overall, I think.
Yeah, and then obviously you move into the end part of the race. We saw some good battles from yourself and other different drivers. Particularly, we saw you go side by side with Aviation at one point. I think there was a slight half spin where he almost lost it, but kept it together. But it's peaking off the penalties that's helped you once again today. Up to P2. I mean, unlucky you didn't get the win, but like I said, you can't be happy that it was your teammate that took it.
No, not at all. He fully deserves it again. But I'll be honest, I think I need to get a bloody blood pressure machine because at the moment it's sky high. Damn last few laps, my God, we were both saying it. I kid you not. I was just, obviously, because I knew it was on 2 warnings as well, it was just a case of hold it. People around us had plans. Don't battle, don't go for any stupid moves. And luckily, I just about had enough battery to pit panic with his 3 seconds. Because I was getting, I'll be honest, I was getting a bit desperate at the end when I was losing a couple of places. So thankfully, just got it. But no, Rads deserves it. He's worked hard for not only his first win last week, but this one as well.
Yeah, no, big congratulations to both of you, obviously, but obviously to yourself in P2. Belgium next week. How are we feeling for that one?
It's a mess with Belgium so far this game. I haven't done it too much, but hopefully, you never know, we can carry on this momentum and back for another one. But maybe the other way around, who knows?
Yeah, well, hopefully you can. You've been doing some great racing lately, the pair of you, to be honest. And some great points for Red Bull. So well done to you today, Locker, P2.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand over back to Cruiser for our race winner yet again.
Let me see, yet again. Only the second time this season that we've had a race winner more than once. And this time, Radical, fingers crossed you can actually hear you now, and not have the bit of faff last time out of Silverstone. Welcome back to the top of the podium.
Yeah, cheers, lads. Yeah, it doesn't quite feel right to be here, you know. It is what it is.
Well, you know, be there when it counts, mate. But just strong for might as well talk through qualifying yourself. One stage you're up in second, so sure you were pretty happy with that lap, and that I think was everything you had.
Yeah, that was literally it. Well, I kept running wide in the final few corners, but yeah, I think that was the best I could do.
And yeah, I was elated for you at Silverstone. Again, the neutral cap's gone, but it's the fact that you go on this spell for 3 years, not picking up a victory. And now you've managed to do it back to back, and I think more so this time, you did it on track. And I just wanted to talk about that because that last lap move and Panic End, you didn't have to make it, but I don't know. I think there was something telling you that you had to make it just so you have that first place.
Yeah, got to make a statement, haven't you? Not here to finish second and win on penalties, but you know. Like I say, you got to make a statement, and lucky enough, Panic gave me the space to go for it. And there, I did pick up a second warning, but it is what it is.
Well, you're two of them to burn, so I suppose that's the benefit of that. But like Locker, Silverstone previously. Yeah, I'm still in Dreamland, man. Silverstone, Monza, and now Spa. Could we actually see the hat trick from you, or is like Locker, Spa a bit hit and miss?
Just keep lining them all up. These are my favourite tracks. I'm going for that hat trick.
Fighting words from Radical and our new championship leader tonight at the end of an action-packed Italian Grand Prix. I think Monkey Boy Kurt will agree with me and congratulating you on your second victory in a row. And I'll hand over to Monkey Boy Kurt because driver of the day. We had some time to digest, but who's it going to be?
Oh, Charles, this is because I'm going to get accused here of locker bias here, but how can I can't go against once again the race winner, because when you don't win a race for 3 years and then we win 2 in a row, and I think the fact as well that he's overtook Panic on the last lap just to be a little bit flash, just to win it on track. I think he has to have it, and Locker's going to hate me because once again I've not picked him. But any other time, I think it definitely would have been Locker. But I can't not give it to Radical. It's going to have to go Radical again.
Well, that was it. Radical for 2 weeks in a row as a race winner and driver of the day. And that is going to be it for tonight for our Tier 3 Italian Grand Prix. Thank you for tuning in and for watching FPRL. We'll be back this Wednesday, the 21st of August, where Tier 2 head off to Monaco as part of our tier vote races or division decision. A name I just created off the top of my head. Sounds flash. Not. But as I've said, we have plenty of social media platforms: Twitch, twitch.tv/FP Racing League, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 PM UK time, and a YouTube channel where all of our races are ported over to the YouTube to relive and rewatch. And I think Radical, you've grown bored of Silverstone, you can watch this one tonight as well. Our Twitter, formerly Twitter, our X, Fairplay RL, and Instagram Fairplay RL also. No shortage of connections for our Discord server. You'll find a link to them across all of our social media. Join FPRL, complete the sign up steps, and we'll get you in for the second half of the season, where next week we head off to Spa, which is going to be very interesting. And I never thought I'd say this sentence. Could Radical make it 3 in a row? We'll have to find out next week, because our new championship leader is going to have a fantastic party tonight, and we're going to end it there at FPRL. So a massive thank you to Monkey Boy Kurt for joining me again in Tier 3. And I don't know about you, but this season could be an all-time classic.
I think it already is. It's been a great season. Obviously, me and you watching it, every single race we've had so far has been an absolute cracker, and I can't wait for the second half. I think it's going to be even better. But just say once again, at the halfway stage, Radical does lead the championship now. Would he be able to hold on to it come next week and going forward? We'll have to wait and see. But thanks everyone for watching.
Indeed, there's no shortage of challengers in this Tier 3 field, but let them rest their heads. And we'll see you at Taco Spa next week. That has been Monkey Boy Kurt, and this has been Cruiser 1872. Thank you all very much for watching, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night. And to everyone in Tier 2 who voted Monaco, I hope you stub your toe and race.